Imagine rather die than work for others. This is the TikTok video I watched this week or this week, and I just can't get over it. And I want to talk about it because we went to extremes once again. And I keep telling people to be careful with what they feed their brain with, because that always alters our behavior. Narratives, propaganda, brainwashing in this case, alters our behavior, and this is where we end up, that people rather die than to work for others. Let's discuss that, because my father had a really good response to it, and I will share it with you. I made notes because this is serious and it's not helping anybody. It's not helping anybody. And even HR is fighting a fight that they don't even see that it exists. So, hi, I'm Sylvia, an organizational psychologist, and I talk about everything and anything related to HR, people management, and generally people's experiences. And today I want to talk about this. I don't even know how to handle this topic because it's just so vast. I could talk about it probably forever. But I picked a few topics and or pointers that will give us direction for this conversation. And guys, just put your comments in there in the comment field, and follow and subscribe, obviously. I want to hear your voice on this topic, because I found that video so disturbing. I was thinking, shall I add this video to this one so you can see it? But I decided not to, because I don't want to give even greater voice to this, because this is harmful. When you decide to rather, die than to do something small as working for others, I can think of bigger problems in life. Then we know that there is a problem. And the idea of working for others just seems to be something so big that, we cannot overcome it. And it's not about, because I watched this video again and again, and I went on her, I watched a few of her videos, and it's not that she hates her job, because sometimes we hate the job that we do. No, she hates the idea of working for others. Now, let's take this apart. And I will, you know me, I'm not going to defend the corporate culture and the environment and the shitty bosses and jobs that we have created. I am aware of the problems of the workforce and the working world. But that's not going to, result in me taking my life. That's just, I found it absolutely bizarre. And so she hates the idea of working for others. So first of all, most people will work for others forever or at some point in life. And there is nothing wrong with it, okay? But second of all, the world doesn't need 8 billion entrepreneurs, okay? That's not going to happen. But I think what she and others who have got onto this train of let's hate the corporate world, the world of work, full-time work, the 9 to 5, working for others, is that work is just a tool to make money, to build a life, a good life. And good means not that you are wealthy, the one that you enjoy. And I think this is the actual problem, because if you look at these people who complain about work, is that they are not happy outside of work. They don't have anything to do. They are not building anything. They don't have any focus. And I have talked about it in previous videos within a different context. But I always come back to that. It's not about wealth. It's not about happiness. Good life is a life that you enjoy. And I just came back from a holiday, so I'm Hungarian, and I went back, and the Hungarian mindset is just like bloody hell. I can see it, how they brainwash people. And once again, social narrative, your algorithm is constantly feed your brain with the information that you want to hear, but you also need to be aware of the fact that it's going to alter your behavior. So I'm always very careful with what am I listening to. That's why I listen to 6-7 different news channels, because I hate the idea that you're going to brainwash me with one type of information. I will never accept that. I always want to know, okay, so this is how you see this topic. Let me see how others see that topic. And then I can form my own opinion about everything. That's how I always worked, probably. It's very difficult to brainwash me because I reject everything at face, and I don't take anything at face value. I always, okay, that's one version of that topic. Give me other versions. And so, what was I saying? So the 9 to 5 is a tool to make money so you can build your life. But all of these people who are complaining about work, who are depressed and all that, don't have anything or have a very unhappy life. And I have noticed that even at work. You know, these bloody finance people, it's always finance who does that. They 5:30, they're all going home. Finance is like walking around. They carry the world's pain and problems on their shoulder while they just are updating Excel sheets. I don't know. And at 5:30, when everybody's going home, they are just getting a cup of coffee or tea and go down for a cigarette instead of going home. Dude, do you hate your wife or husband? Like, go home. And these are the very same people who are creating problems at work. They are the ones sending emails, CCing in everyone, stirring shit, talking about behind other people's back, gossiping. And those are the people who are very unhappy outside, and they are the other people are always the ones who are complaining about work because they don't have anything else to do in their life. Not to do, they don't have anything else. It's an empty life. And you should not be focusing so much on work. So coming back to the Hungarians. So I went home and all I can see in Budapest is progress. Building, park, the city is greener. Now I'm not, and the buildings are refurbished, roads are shit. But you know, it's getting there. There are a lot of refurbishment, infrastructure building, etc., etc. But even from the news, oh my God, the news sounds like a murder investigation show, you know, that true crime show. It's all about bad news. Who killed who, how many accidents happened, how many, you know, what happens, and it's all negative. Not one positive news on the TV. And then, add to it, the advertisement. Now, I don't watch advertisement, but my father leaves the TV on and I just don't want to argue with him. And the advertisement, 90% of the advertisement, I literally counted it. It's all about medicine, that you are sick. So the message from mainstream media is that life is shit, the world is horrible, nothing good, no good happened in the country, which is very difficult to believe in any place. And you are sick and you need medication. And I told my father, I'm like, this is what you watch? This is what you watch? I'm like, that's why the Hungarian people are so depressed and just doom and gloom and complaining. One of the trams that we were traveling on broke down. And these are they are new trams. And they broke down. Okay, get off. We were getting off and I heard immediately they are complaining about government. I'm like, it's a public transport, it's going to break down like your car. But nobody noticed it, that the service car was there within 2 minutes. I even told my friend, I'm like, wow, I'm impressed. The service car is here, literally. It wasn't even 2 minutes. It was there, fixing it, and within 5 minutes, everything was back to normal. Nobody noticed that. They noticed the negative one. So, once again, brainwashing yourself with this. This is how you're going to view everything. Now, so going back to it, 9 to 5, full-time job, call it as you want. Working for others is a tool to build a good life. And the good life is the one that you enjoy. And you can enjoy it in different ways. So there is no recipe for that. So it's not about wealth. It's not about happiness. And Unfortunately, today we are conditioned to hate that tool. But it's with everything else, with every other tool. It's not about the tool, it's the user of it. So I want to talk about in this video how to make that corporate world or 9 to 5 or full-time job or whatever work for you. Now, I'm not saying there are no shitty places and then you should leave. But if it's always, they say that it's always other people are the dickheads, then it's probably you. Because if you go from one workplace to another and everywhere is bad, well, that's the common denominator is you. So it's your mindset what have to change. And do you know why it has to change? Because hatred and bitterness is only hurting you. And you can see that with Prince Harry, and he just came out last week or this week, I don't even know what day it is, that he's fed up being the bitter prince. Well, welcome to the finishing line, lovely. I knew it. Now, we all have problems. There are no perfect places. But everything is bad, it's just going to hurt you, nobody else. Because guess what? The world is moving forward. Then you stay behind and you can bitch about whatever you want to bitch about. In this case, it's work. So it's only hatred and bitterness is only hurting you. And some videos I see online that saying that full-time job is limiting you. Well, it's the mindset that is limiting you, not and the victimhood. This lack of agency is what's limiting you, because smart people know how to use reality to their benefit. Most things in life you won't be able to change. Most things will stay as it is. But you have two choices, two options, right? Either use it to my benefit or I walk away. But you have to walk away in a strategic way. You cannot just walk away and then cry online that, it's so horrible and I'd rather die. That's not an option. I wrote to this lady on TikTok that, hey, if you want to talk, I'm happy to come online and have a chat with you. Like, don't do stupid things for a work. Because she's fed up of working for others and looking for a job. Well, it's not a pleasant experience, but that's not good. I don't even know how to process this. And, people it's not that difficult, and I come to it. I have some points how to make it work for you. But before that, I want to talk about HR, because, that's why sometimes I don't like working with HR people, because they would come up with retention strategies, right? They would come up with engagement strategies. But if you are just in HR, you are likely to work in silo. You can only see what's happening within the workforce. Whilst, for example, this kind of narrative, that's why organization psychologists, we look at the context of people, and it's not just within the workforce, outside of the workforce. Because if you ask me to create a retention strategy, an engagement strategy, I'm not going to only look at what's happening within the organization and address that, but we must look at what's happening outside. And this mainstream narrative that we have to work or hate the job or the work or the idea of working for others, not even the job, because if you just hate your job, you go and find something else. That's easy. But if you hate the idea of working for others, what kind of HR strategy can I come up with? Nothing. My job as HR, as organizational leaders, to make sure that people have a pleasant experience while they are with them, right? So, and talk about the difficulties of working together. And it's not about working for others, it's working together, because now you have to work with your line manager, with your subordinate, with your colleagues, with up and down, and then there's always some bullshit politics, then there is some morons who can't regulate their own emotions, so now you need to use your skill to manage other people's emotions. And that's normal. There is nothing wrong with it. Now I understand it's not always pleasant, but that maybe we can control. We can manage that. But what's happening in the outside world, coming into organizations and changing people's behavior, how they view the world of work, is very difficult. So if you are ignoring as a HR professional what's happening outside, you're just fighting fire because you're not going to get from one place to another. That's why I always say that HR is fighting invisible forces. They're fighting things they are not even aware of. So they are not equipped to handle organization and retention and attraction and everything that comes with the world of work, because first of all it's changing so fast. Second of all is, and I made a video about it before, I don't know what, I might link it at the end, can't remember now, that HR is fighting that the village has disappeared. Nobody has a support system, so now employees are relying on their managers and the workforce and HR to support them, like be the village. I'm not gonna be anybody's mother, like you go and sort yourself out, right? So HR has a very difficult life as well, and I'm not defending them, but that is true. Now let's go to the 12 points I put together that how to make the 9-to-5 work for you. So first of all, leverage stability. Use your regular paycheck to fund investment. You don't have, being a millionaire is actually very easy. If you save up for money, if you look around in the world, everything was built on a full-time job, on the back of 9-to-5. So is it really that terrible? No, it's terrible because you don't know how to use the tool to your benefit. So leverage that stability. Full-time job gives you stability, which we all enjoy, right? Fund your investment, fund your education, fund your lifestyle with zero desperation, because the bailiffs are not knocking on your door that you need to pay the bills. So that gives you the foundation to your life. Why do you hate that? Why do you hate that so much? Second, master the system. Learn how raises, pay, salary raise, promotions, and bonuses work in your company. You would be surprised what you get when you ask. But I know a lot of people, they don't ask, they don't even do anything for promotion, desired promotion, but then when you sit with them, you talk, nobody noticed me. Nobody will. You need to show that you are willing, and then express that interest. Otherwise, you stay where you are. Make yourself valuable. And in the world of work, when the skill gaps are changing so fast, it's a constant work. So you should never get bored with work, because by the time you upskill yourself for the latest skill that we need, it's already redundant and you need to start again. So it's not only that your job should be valuable, but also your qualification, your expertise, and your skill. Because then you have a bargaining power, not only within your company, outside of the company. So you don't need to hate that game. It's a game. Play it smartly. Invest early. Now, I told you in my previous video, even when I was earning like £500 a month, I was still saving money. Today, I have two properties from my 9-to-5 corporate bullshit hotel job that doesn't pay shit. I did it. I bought 2 properties. Hopefully, inshallah, next year I can buy another property here in Dubai. That's my goal right now. So if you think about it, I'm a millionaire because I have millions in property values. I can liquidate that and I have millions sitting in my bank. And I'm not a genius. I'm not even the highest paid corporate person. I worked in the hospitality for 19 years. You know the salaries that we pay in the hotel industry? And somehow I did it. I even paid 200,000 dirham for my own master's degree. Because going back, make yourself valuable, right? So the fourth one, so invest. Make sure that you always save. Have some sort of strategy around saving. Don't live within your means. And I think my father and my grandmother taught me that you cannot spend. You always save, no matter what. That's your goal. Okay, this goes, to this account. I don't have that money. My direct debits and investment and all that, my salary or my payment hits my account, and these 2 accounts are taking everything that must go there. and I have what I have for the month, and that's finished. And every year I go for 4 holidays. I go mountaineering, which is extremely expensive, and I don't really, take anything away from me or deprive myself from things that I don't want. But at the same time, I don't spend money on bullshit. My best friend just called me stingy this week. I'm like, I'm not going to spend money on stupid Starbucks coffee. Or I'm not going to spend money or money, we were in the spa, on a package that includes food and champagne. I'm like, I don't drink. We're going to a spa, food. Dude, I already ate food and I will eat when I'm hungry. So I don't need that. Then she goes like, you're so stingy. But I don't need the fuss. I don't need the bathrobe. I don't need the towel. I'll bring the towel. Don't charge me for that. So these are the things where I don't spend money on. So save your money, invest, always put it separately. In years, in years, you will see how much money you have. Even when I had 500 pounds a month, I saved maybe 50. I don't know, I can't remember. But a few years later, I had 10,000 pounds and I was so happy. I remember that when it hit in my bank, it showed 10,000. I'm like, wow, how did I get 10,000 pounds? I just got it. So, and I went from there. Set boundaries and goals. If you want a better life, you have to set goals and boundaries. What you allow and what you don't allow. What you want to do, what you are willing to do, what you are not willing to do. And be clear about your exit plan, lifestyle goals, and promotion timelines. Don't just wait around and be at the mercy of your manager and leader and the workforce. Oh, they're going to notice me. No, you are very intentional. This is where I'm going. This is what I want. And that's the amount of money I need for it, right? And you plan your life. Because if life happens to you, instead of you somehow navigating and have some sort of control, you can't have all the control over life. Life will happen to you. But how much of it, I would like to decide, right? So have those goals. If you don't have goals, you don't know where you're going and you're just wandering around in the world like a leaf during autumn season, just fly up and down. People will influence you and they will brainwash you with these stupid negative videos online. Please. Go where the job is. Now, this is what I always done. I moved to London. I moved to the Maldives. I hated it. I moved to China. I loved it. I moved to Dubai. I go wherever the money is. Dude, this is job. I want to have a good life. I want to enjoy my life. And I go where the money is. I do whatever work you want within my moral, and ethical and value, whatever matches my value. You want me to, sometimes I hear from people, I get so much money or I want to do this work and this is what they want from me, the company. Dude, if you pay me $12,000 a month to update Excel sheets, I will do it. I don't care. You pay me, that's what you want from me. I take the money and I'm building my life outside. Why are you stressing about things that is not your business? This is what the company wants from you. This is why they pay you. You do that. As long as it's not illegal, not unethical, and it's okay. I'm happy to do it. Like, this is what you want. I always said it, even in the hotel industry. We have stupid jobs. I'm like, that's what you want me to do for 8 hours? You pay the salary. I do it. Now, I can tell you that is wrong, or I could be more useful, but if you don't want me, what am I going to do? Sabotage my own self? No. So go where the job is and don't be afraid of moving. Cities, countries, companies, industries, move around and go where the job is. There is always a job. If it's in Timbuktu, I don't know where Timbuktu, I go there. That's where the job is. Once I moved to Malta. I didn't like it. I left. But I made the move. I'm not scared of it, right? Treat your job like your investor. Your 9 to 5, your full-time job is your first angel investor. Once again, gives you the stability, gives you the money to start investing. If you leave, and you're gonna now cry, but I don't have the life where I live with my parents. Good for you. I wish I could live with my father, so I don't have to pay. I don't pay rent anymore, but but you know what I mean. Like, you have you are saving so much money by living at home. Save more, use that as your stepping stone, literally, and invest, not just get the money, spend it all, and then cry about you have nothing. You will not have anything if that's your game. Learn the game of promotion. Once again, know how that works within the company. What are the skills, expertise, knowledge, behavior they promote and reward, and do that so you get more money. People get promoted for money. It's not because they want to change the world and they come up with something. Don't bullshit yourself. It's not about passion. It's not about meaning. Work is not about passion and meaning. Work is to get the money so you can build a life. And most people are passionate about their work because they are good at it. But then why they are good at it? Because they spend so many years doing it. So if you enter the workforce, you will not be passionate about anything because you can't be good at things, right? So enjoyment of doing something comes from competence. But competence requires years of experience in doing it and making mistakes and messing it up and being wrong and continuously learning and studying your craft and looking at what's happening. So work is not about that. You can get there at the end or in the middle of your career, but not straight away, especially. Automate your money. So I talked about it. Transfer, set it up. You don't even see that money. You're not going to miss it. You'll be left with whatever you have left, and that you have to manage with that. Don't tie your identity to your job. That's the greatest mistake. That's the greatest. In Europe, it's so funny, especially in Scandinavian countries, but even back home, nobody's asking what you do. It's just some weird American stuff that everybody started to adopt. What do you do? Nothing. I earn money. That's what I do. Like, ask me anything else. It doesn't matter what I do. So don't tie yourself, because if you will lose this job, and not if, you will, when you lose this job, what's left? Nothing. Just you and your empty bank account? No, that's not a great life. And then you end up on TikTok making stupid videos, how horrible the world is. No, you did it to yourself by making it, oh, I'm this, I'm that. No. You are who you are as a person without the job. So use the 9 to 5 wisely. So after work, what you do is also count. So maybe, I know you will say, I'm so tired. Good for you. Spend another extra hour. It's not going to make any difference. And then you go to bed on time, stop watching online videos, and go to bed at 10. And exit on purpose, not on emotion. So you decided it is not for you. You want to be an entrepreneur. This company is not for you. This industry is not for you. This job is not. That's great. There's nothing wrong with it. I will not say that everywhere is great or you found your perfect place. No, go and look for things. That's normal. I don't have a problem with that. But don't act on emotion because your boss told you off. You know how many times you're going to get told off in the world of work? Constantly. Once a week, once a month, whatever. That's normal. That's part of it. And now you're going to tell me, yeah, but it shouldn't. We shouldn't normalize it. I agree. I agree. But if you reject reality, it's, once again, you are hurting yourself. So it's either me hurting myself and walk away with this big pride and convictions and all that. Why? I'm not going to have a job. I'm not even prepared to not to have a job because I don't have any saving in my bank. And then that stupid person who shouted at you or told you off is continuing on with life, earning the money, and that's it. Because that's what's happened. So who are you trying to punish? What is the statement you're trying to make? I'm going to be broke but proud? That's not a strategy. So I think the message is really that escaping the 9 to 5 or full-time job, it shouldn't be a reaction to online noise. It should be that really ask yourself the question, do I really have a problem working for others? My brother has a problem. He can't work for others. Like, this child is, I don't know. So me putting him into a workforce, that would never work. And he's very happy, but he's not online, he's not complaining, he's making his own money quietly and learned how to do it, right? So first of all, ask yourself the question, do I hate the idea of working for others? Great. If yes, what are my options? Can I be an entrepreneur? Do I have what it takes? Because that requires a very different skill set, I tell you that. Can I make money until I find another job? Do I hate my work, the idea of working for others, or do I just hate that job that I'm doing? Do I hate that job, what I'm doing, or do I hate the work environment, the manager, the colleagues, or whatever? What is it that you hate? And what is it that you can do about? But in the meantime, you are using that money to build a life outside. So don't hate the word of work, 9 to 5 full time, because that is also putting a mental block on you, and you're just going to be miserable while you are forced to do this. So it's better for not, I don't feel forced. This is my choice. I'm doing it. It's not ideal, but you know what? This is just 8 hours of my work, of my day. Then I'm going home. I don't talk about work, and I'm building my life. Because as Nietzsche said, if you know the why, you can bear anyhow. And that is true. And once again, those people who complain online, and now this video is super long, complain online are the ones who don't know how to play the game, don't know how to figure out this world. And I'm actually sorry for them, but the complaining is not the solution. And conditioning other people that everything is bad, because guess what? The world was built on full-time employment. Teachers have built really good life, and they earn really, not very high. It's really bad. Nurses, they built really good. You see wealth, and everywhere you go, and sometimes it's generational wealth. And I had this conversation with my friend. This generation is not building wealth. I'm like, does it really matter which generation is building the wealth? It will be passed down, right? One way or another. And I know you're going to tell me, oh, my family doesn't have any. Now, it's really hard for me to think of anybody I know, friends and just acquaintances and colleagues, who is not better off than the previous generation. Or at least at the same level, which is middle class, okay? So that would be my first argument. But it doesn't matter which generation is built wealth, because maybe, and that was my argument towards my friend, that every generation has to build something else. The boomers built wealth, which will be passed down. Fantastic, thank you very much from all of you. I see that even in my family. The next generation, maybe this generation, now we are building infrastructure. Look at the progress everywhere. So now we are building infrastructure, housing, apartments, roads, technology, whatever we are building. So we can pass this on to the next generation. Why they will be building something else. I don't even know what they will be building. So is not the purpose of every generation or every life to build wealth. And it shouldn't, because then there is a cap. There must be a cap, and we must build something else as well. So they build wealth. We have a good foundation in terms of in societies, that everybody could benefit. And once again, we have enough money, enough resources. What we need to figure out is the distribution. But even distribution, if you look at it through the lens of negativity, or you see that, oh, this guy has this and I don't have that. Okay, but what do you have? And when I ask people, they actually have enough. Once you have a property, you are a millionaire. Once you start putting money into Hungarians are always crying about money. I saw the statistics, how many Hungarians are visiting Dubai every year. They are coming here like if it was the sweet shop or a candy shop or something. Like, there is money. There is enough money. If you can afford the Dubai holiday, stop crying. You have enough money. And look at the number of tourists in the world. There is enough money. I'll tell you that. It's just our mindset. And especially when we don't want to do something, amplifies, right? And it becomes so bad. But once again, you are only hurting yourself. So the bottom line is, as my taxi driver said that to me the other day, he said, Madam, the bottom line is Dubai is hot. I'm like, yeah, it is hot. So the bottom line is that maybe we shouldn't be, hatred is not a strategy. It's a mental obstacle. And the real purpose of work is money. It's not passion, it's not meaning. And maybe we shouldn't fight against escaping, or maybe we shouldn't be focusing on escaping and hating the world of work, but maybe we should be focusing on how to make it work for ourselves. I think that would be a very good starting point. And do me one favor. Do this for a month. You know what? Do this for 3 months. Because you need to change your mindset. Do this for me for 3 months. Only watch videos, online content, where these young people in their 20s buy a house, buy a property, buy something, build wealth, and they are happy. And only watch those. I always find those videos. I hardly find this crying lady wanting to unalive herself because she doesn't want to work for others. And it makes me so happy. I'm like, I wish I did that when I was 25. I had no money. It took me some time to figure it out, right? I'm like, I wish I started it earlier. Where would I be now? And find those where they are building, they are refurbishing, they are saving. They say, I'm not going for a holiday this year because I want to finish the refurbishment of this house. That is beautiful. These are the videos you should be watching. Watch videos that are positively brainwashing you, not negatively. Because there you will see options. You will see possibilities. With doom and gloom and negativity, then nihilism, everything is bad. All you see is that, the doom and gloom, and there is no way out. I like to see content where it shows me the way out. And you choose to see content that doesn't show you the way out, gets you stuck. So you remember, full-time job is not that you are stuck, it's you are founded. It's not that you are trapped, you are being trained, because work is going to train you on so many things. And you are not behind, you are building. But know what you want to build. Know what your goal is. Otherwise, and make this bloody full-time job. We have to do it anyway. It doesn't matter because, it's for there to make a living. Because life is not free. So if I have to do it, I make it work for myself. That's the mindset I would like to see. Anyway, too long. This video is too long. I will make my next video. I already released today or yesterday a short video on the CEO and HR lady hooking up on Coldplay concert. I will make a longer one, maybe next weekend, how that applies to HR and leadership and, why HR is actually asking employees to disclose their romantic relationships at work and how these two have failed and what could be the consequences of that. So, yeah, that's a fantastic news for this week. But anyway, you enjoy the week and see you next time.